If you can't explain your film in one sentence, you're not ready to produce it. I'm Yamoria Wright. This is the Producer's Blueprint. Let's get into it. So, you're at a networking event. It's popping. It's amazing. And you ask a producer or a filmmaker, the person you're talking to, what the film is about. 5 minutes later, you still aren't clear. Clarity, being clear about the project is the first, I put 2 fingers up, the first thing you need to know. And to be honest, clarity is not simply a director, a writer's problem. It's the producer's responsibility. You have to make sure that project is grounded and clear before you start spreading it to the world, because you don't want your audience to be confused before they even get to see the project. When I first started building LoveMyRoomie, I was building the deck because I was excited and I knew a lot about decks early on in my career. And then I was running into walls, and those walls were being created, or they existed because I was not clear on what the project was really about. My synopsis was this way. My logline was this way. I had visions for the project's future that didn't quite make sense for what I was saying in the deck. It was just a lot of information. A deck is not a place for ideas. A deck is the place where you must be absolutely clear, because honestly, funding for your project, attaching talent for your project can depend on how clear that deck is. So how do you get one sentence to describe your project? Well, that comes from the synopsis, right? 1 to 2 sentences. I'm basically, getting at the log line, but that comes from your synopsis. You need to be clear on what your project is about. And the log line lives beneath the surface of that synopsis. It's extracted from that. And that's how you'll have clarity and consistency with your entire project when it comes to describing it to people, whether you're in that networking room or whether you're pitching it. So in the Plan Like a Pro blueprint here, we talk about a purpose statement. And your purpose statement is truly why this project. And you're going to see, actually, when you have your purpose statement, it's going to make its way into your decks anyways, right? It ends up becoming the conversation you have when you're pitching, and people want to know why this project, why now. That is all going to come from your purpose statement. So here are the things that I want you to consider when you're crafting your purpose statement, okay? Number 1 is, what is the film? That includes the genre. That includes the approximate runtime, right? Who is it for? That's your intended audience, right? We talked about that in episode 5. If you didn't listen, you should listen or watch, depending on how you're consuming this episode. And what experience does it offer, right? What experience, what are you offering? Remember I said in episode 5, it's about what you give. We give more than we take. So what are you offering to people through the experience of your story, okay? And then the next thing is, why does it matter? Why does the film matter? Okay. And that's not a marketing tagline, I should say. It's not, make it today, live tomorrow. I don't know. It's not a tagline. Why your film matters can be, it's a really heavy time in society. There's, all sorts of distress, and people don't want to see more distress on screen. They want to see a family comedy. You're already grounding the project in something, and an investor might say, well, yeah, that's true, because remember, you want to make sure people are able to buy in, whether that's literally, financially, or just by being able to attach themselves emotionally, invested in you, the filmmaker, and your project that is coming from you, the filmmaker. And that includes producers, of course. All of these are producing tools. All right, so y'all know me. I love a little homework, a little work, but that's because we're working from the blueprint, and our goal here is to work these things out. I want to emphasize it is okay to talk these things out on your voice memo, on your phone, or wherever. If you want to do, a video of yourself speaking through this process, that's fine. And a little tidbit, that would actually be really good. Making of whatever your project is, BTS, make a little documentary about your project. So if you want to document this process on video, there it is. I gave you a really nice gem. Okay, let's move on. So step 1, I want you to write the synopsis. Again, that's not the log line. It's the synopsis. It's what actually happens in the story from the beginning to the end, the full version. And you're not going to it's the unabridged version. You're not going to compress it. You're not going to, hinder it. Let the story out. It might even be helpful to just do a free write before you even get to that synopsis if you just are like trying to hunker what the story's about, okay? Step 2, you're going to identify one thing. What is this really about? Your project, your film, your series. The thing that would be true if you changed the genre, the setting, the characters, what would be true? And this is something, by the way, that I love about the horror thriller genre, to be specific, is that even if you were to strip away the scariness of it or this whatever keeps you on the edge of your seat, it is ultimately usually about one or two things. The themes are so strong. Often it is love, it is unrequited love, it is betrayal or parental relationships. Like there's always things that just anchor it. And it's like the literal heartbeat of the story. And it doesn't, although the genre is the container and it's the way that it's delivered, the heartbeat, what connects to the audience, is actually unchanged, right? The characters are impacted. The decisions they make are, of course, impacted by the circumstances they find themselves in. But the heart, it's the heart. And that's what I want you to think about when you identify the one thing. What's the heart? So step 3, I want you to add the audience in and the emotional offer. That's what we're going to call it. The emotional offering. Okay. And when you think about that, that's who is this for? Again, what do you want them to feel? Okay. And you're going to bring the answers from episode 5, which you've worked on. If you haven't worked on episode 5's work, go back. You're going to bring that right into here. It should pretty much insert right into here, except maybe you'll have even more clarity, right? Okay. So lastly, but never least, we're going to go to step 4, which is compress. Okay, so what does that mean? 1 to 2 sentences, about 40 words max, and every draft that doesn't work is getting you closer and closer to the one that does. Now we're compressing, right? We're getting closer to a very concise logline, to be honest, but a very concise pitch, a very concise sentence that we can say at said networking event I mentioned at the top of this episode. See, I helped you get ready. You're ready now, right? It's not so scary. Not as scary. Filmmakers who move into production without certainty, without this purpose statement, it just opens you up for so many bits of confusion. This includes the way that you hire your team. Like if you're not clear about what the project is, then they might not be clear. And you want people on your project that are aligned. And I say this especially on indie projects, right? Where like time is really, really money. And you might not be able to like move anything. You like, do you really got extra money, to move around? Maybe not, right? So you want to make sure you have that purpose statement and that you're clear. So before you move on, write the synopsis. I promise you, your one sentence is in there. So where are we now, y'all? 6 episodes ago, we started with one big question. Do you know what you're actually making? Episode 1 was clarity. Episode 2 was scope. Episode 3 was purpose. Episode 4 was goals. Episode 5 was audience. And today we turned all of that into one sentence. This has been chapter 1 of the Producer's Blueprint summarized. If you want to dive deeper, the workbook is right there for you. We're just getting started. I'm Yamoria Wright. If the film matters, make it anyway. That light's out. Oh, it's that one.